Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is a continuation from the last video that I asked, do you prep? Are van lifers any better equipped to be preppers than us, people that live in houses basically? So today I thought I'd carry on from there because I had quite a good response and I'm blown away, really surprised at how many people that watch this channel are prepared and switched on. So yeah, I think there's so many people in the UK that are not even aware that a situation could arise, and that's basically what I want to say here. I want to go over my thoughts of what I think is a very good possibility in the near future. So we have the farmers going down to London. I've got my pack here, by the way, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. The farmers are going down to London, and although the farmers themselves have said the protests are going to be non-violent and that they're going to respect the law and everything like this, it's outsiders, either lefties or criminal organisations, that want to loot. That's my concern. I'm not worried at the moment about full-scale war or World War III, 4, whatever you want to call it. I'm not too concerned about going to war with Russia at the moment. I think that's the least of our problems. I think from a prepper's point of view, from my point of view at least, I think the danger comes from government not listening to all of us. I mean, society, government do not want to know our thoughts and how we feel, so they're totally ignoring that. So protests are now becoming more and more regular. The farmers have quite a lot of power actually. For a start, they have some bloody big vehicles, and my thoughts are that if they do go down to London with a peaceful protest, that criminal organisations will see the opportunity to loot and take what they want. So that's where my thoughts are. It's not with World War III. From a prepper's point of view, and I've been prepping since I was about, I don't know, about 9-10 years old. So I've always been sort of outdoorsy. And I've prepped for a long time. I think I'm pretty self-contained. I think I'll manage, at least for the start of it anyway. So my concerns is rioting, basically. If the farmers go down to London and it kicks off, I don't think it will be contained just to London. I think it could be wider spread in all our towns and cities, because people at the moment, they are balancing on an edge of despair. Everyone is frustrated, and I think every person that I speak to says to me, something's going to give. We're not going to keep putting up with this. And I feel the same. As I wear my flag with pride. I love this country. So I don't want to leave and go somewhere else. I belong here. I live here. This is my country. So I'm not going to be forced out by what is going on. And I don't think you guys will either. But if rioting does take hold on the streets, we as a group of preppers will be better prepared than most. And for me, because I live in my van, I've got all of this in my van is my prep basically, and I feel quite vulnerable with it. And I think anyone who lives in a van or as a motorhome camper van, you're going to be prime target. You're going to stand out like a big sore thumb. You're going to be money sitting in front of someone's eyes. And if they want to get out because the cities and the towns are being ransacked and looted, your van is going to be high value. It's going to be a target. So that's what my worry is. And I'm pretty much aware of this. So I've got this here, which I'll sort of show you. I've got my pack. Right, so that is my abandon the van. That is my get out the van. I'm leaving on foot now. That is that. And that is where this comes in. So if you want to see what's in that, then leave me a message, and I'll go through, talk about some of my kit, how I plan to use it, and how long I think I'll last. So I don't have no food in my pack, by the way, which you guys will say, oh my God, like you're going to die. Right, so I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So I don't have no food. And that's where I think the issues will come. The looting will be for food. If food shortages take place, power outages is another issue. And I do have this here. And it is a small solar panel with a small power pack. I do have larger ones in the van. But this is a small size, laptop size. And the reason I will take this one, and the reason why it's not in the pack, is that I can throw it away. I can dump it. I want to be, with this pack, I want to be able to run. I'm not the fittest of guys anymore. I'm getting old, and I've got a dodgy knee. So I want to be able to run with this pack. So it has to be reasonably light. And I'd say, what does it weigh? It's probably about 12 kilos, I'd say. That's without weighing. And I'll see if I can get some scales and weigh it. It's about 12 kilos, I'd say. So I want to be able to run with it. If I've got to abandon my vehicle, and that's another thing. A lot of you guys who do have camper vans, you'd be saying, you're not getting my vehicle. Well, if you're outnumbered, if you've got 40, 50 people coming down a road and your van is stuck there, you don't want to be in that van. If they're burning vehicles, because that's one of the other things as well, which I've realised. People in houses turn around and say, oh, I'm stuck in an house. It's not a bad place to be. I wouldn't mind being stuck in an house, because when you see on the news, most of the things that get burnt are the vehicles. They use them as roadblocks, and your big van is going to be an ideal roadblock, like it or not. So I'm quite happy, well, not happy, but I'm willing to abandon my van. My van is a commodity. If it gets to that stage where I lose the van, fair enough, I'll abandon it. I'll fight for it, don't get me wrong. I won't give up easy. And if there was like 2 or 3 people that were trying to take it in a different situation where I could fight for it, then sure, I've got my trusty wood chopping tool here, and it is for wood chopping, not self-defense or anything like that. But if I do need it for self-defense, I do know it's here. And yeah, it's just a matter of, will this happen? And I think it's close. We are close to, we've at least got to consider it and be ready for riots on the streets. So what's your thoughts? So many of you guys have said you're preppers, you've got generators, and I think that is another thing as well. I've been lucky enough to have done a couple of reviews on power banks, like generators, the solar rechargeable power packs, electrical generators, if you want to call them that. I'm not sure. Power stations is the right word. I've been lucky enough to do a couple of reviews on those recently, and it's all come at a really good time. So yeah, another thing that I've got in my arsenal of get out is that I've got a place in the woods, a nice little shelter where me and Sue built in the summer. So this is how long we've been thinking about this. We built this little shelter in the summer, It's got deer in the woods. I've put a picture, by the way, in our community. So if you want to have a look at our little shelter that we've constructed, and I think we've got a video on how we constructed it as well. If you want to see that, we might be able to put that together, because we haven't done anything with it. We filmed it and never used it. So we've got this little hideaway where if we do have to abandon the vans, or we do need to get out of town, we can take the vans, park them up, and hide away in this forest. Now, I've been there for a number of nights and days, and it is so far off the beaten track and so far through densely wooded area, which is why we chose it, that most people would not want to walk through it. Most of the time you're walking through, getting poked in the eye with sticks and ferns and everything else. You're almost knee deep in mud and swampy shit. So it is proper out the way. We won't get our vans up to there, but we will certainly be able to get our vans close, abandon the vans, and then going on foot. And it is pretty much hidden away, like, so that is our last resort, if you like if it does really get bad and the streets are unsafe. So yeah, you guys have said a lot of you guys have said you've got generators, like petrol generators, and I've also got a petrol generator, but I wouldn't be taking that unless I can actually take the van. If I could take the van, that would go with me. We've been lucky enough to be given some diesel heaters. I've got a diesel heater fitted in this van as well, so that will come in handy. And if it does come to it, I mean, you might not get diesel to actually run your van, but you can certainly use vehicle engine oil. You can certainly drain the engine oil out of vehicles to burn along with diesel. So you could do a sort of a 50-50 mix and burn the engine oil to save fuel. And there's little things like that I want you guys to put in the comments below. So as a prepper, give us your tips. Someone's mentioned that if you are in an house, take your doors off and nail them to the stairs, because that would make a really good, difficult approach to the upstairs. You could retreat to upstairs if you get attacked. You could nail your doors to the stairs and hide away in there, and it will slow everyone down. Really good. I wouldn't have thought of that myself. So whoever's idea that was, nice one, nice bit of thinking there. And that's what I want to try and share with you guys below. So yeah, I didn't want to say van life is any better than house life, as in prepping, because I don't think that's true. I think you guys in an house, having an house and a van, is probably the best case scenario. And I do feel a little bit vulnerable. So I also want to know, like, from your point of view, how close are we? Do you actually think we're going to have a civil war? I mean, if we do have a civil war, then that is going to be all out prepping. You're going to have to survive for quite a few months. And that is where I would be emptying my van and trying to get it as close to where I want it to be and hide it away in bushes. That would be a different case altogether. But at the moment, like I say, my thoughts are riots on the streets. The streets are not safe, so I have to get off the streets. And that's also going to make shopping difficult, because the first things that's going to get looted is the shops. If there's food shortages, I think the first things that will get attacked and looted would be the electrical items, laptops, TVs, which are going to be useless. I mean, if you're going to go out and do a bit of shopping, don't go out to get TVs and laptops. That might be worthwhile after, but the first few days, if it does turn to that, is you're going to want food. the loonies will go out and collect the laptops and TVs. Let them have them. You concentrate on food and water. So yeah, if you want to see what's in my pack, I'll give you a quick run through if you like. I've got the axe, I've got water, I've got a poncho, I've got a water filter, I've got a dirty water, I've got a clean water container. So I've got two containers for dirty and clean water. I've got a bivvy bag, I've got a a tarp. What else have I got? I've got a fire lighting kit. I've got a survival knife. I've got a compact first aid kit. And the reason I don't carry my first aid kit in the pack is that I need it in the van, close to hand, because if I'm going to use a first aid kit, it's more likely going to be with accidents, road accidents, because I'm driving, and the chances of me coming across the road accident, then that's why I leave it out the pack, easy to grab. What else have I got in my pack? Water sterilisation kit. I've got a what do you call it, hammock. I've got a hammock and a hammock liner, the heated under blanket, and that's about it really. I've got another pack as well, by the way, but the other pack is more of a hiking pack. I've got a compass in here as well to help me through dense forest. But yeah, as I say, I've got another pack, and the other pack is more geared towards hill walking and outdoor adventures, rather than this one, this one is a pure losing the van, I'm on foot now. So yeah, if you want to give me any tips, advice, things that you think I should have in here, and maybe in the next video I'll empty out what's in here and show you what I've got, what I carry, and how I use it. If you want to see my water purification video, which I'll put a link here, in that video I'll show you how to turn the crappiest of water sources that you will find, pretty much mud with horse poo in it. That video will be there. I want to know what your thoughts are. I want to hear what you think, and also I want to hear, do you think that people have had enough? Has it got to the point where our government, and I'm going to say this as well, I'm not even going to call him my king, but the king of England, Charles, he should be putting his foot down and saying, I'm not taking this. Like, this is not what my government should be doing. So our king is also as corrupt as our fucked up government. That's my thoughts anyway. He has the power to say what he thinks and to steer him in the right direction. He should be saying that there's enough problems with our country to take on other countries' problems and let it come into and destroy our country itself. So yeah, all your comments below. If you want to see more of these videos, again, comments below. Let me know what you want, and tell me what you've got prepping wise.